Man, it's kind of crazy you finally have stuff to talk about in a Ghost Game episode, huh?
Just a little bit.
So here's the thing. I know that, like, you probably aren't, like, approaching us from this direction. I overanalyzed the fuck out of that episode. Because it's just how I am. And, I don't know, I think there's, like, some weird stuff that, like, we probably won't get answers for, but yeah, no, that's gonna be really interesting to talk about, I think. Because, like, I'm probably overthinking a lot of things, but, like, oh wow, that's a lot. Speaking of things that are just a lot, hey, freaking tickle torture, right?
Yeah.
Oh god, this was weird. Oh jeez, this was awkward.
Yeah, I was waiting for this episode. I knew it existed, as I didn't remember where it happened.
So, I remember watching a few of these as a kid. I remember, like, the friggin', like, fight scene where Guimon's, like, predicting the weather. And he's like, oh yeah, it's going to, like, stop raining, and, oh, now it's gonna, like, thunder, and then it snows or whatever. I remember that being a big thing in the dub, and, that's not quite the exact translation in the episode, but screw it, good enough. I forgot about everything else that happens here. Holy crap, I forgot about friggin' like tying miners to a rock with freaking chains and just randomly tickling them with like disembodied hands. I don't know if I just didn't see this or if they cut or what, but jeez, what the heck?
When I watched the dub, this scene was totally there.
Oh no. I think the weirdest part about this is that it's like, first off, yeah, tickle torture, what the crap? This is like a whole weird thing. Like, I'm like not entirely convinced that this didn't spark a fashion, people. I'm gonna be real.
I mean, this is totally somebody's thinly veiled
oh yeah,
fetish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get it's like a kid's show, so you can't have them like, I don't know, like torture them in a way that would be like actually violent. But also, yeah, no, this is weird. This is fucking weird.
Boy, does it make the villain seem really stupid.
Yeah, specifically Randomon, because she's like, oh yeah, how do I get information? Oh, I know, fetch me some feathers and I'll, like, get to it. And what kind of makes this funnier is that it's like the entire time Koji is just like hiding behind a rock like, okay, well, I can't fight them all on my own. So, I mean, I guess this is like, fine. And they start doing it, and he seems like genuinely upset about it. Like, he's like, he's just like I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, like they're actually torturing them.
Yeah, it's played so straight, like, what the heck?
It's the dumbest.
Can we just take a second to acknowledge that, like, one of those fingers is, like, 100% Tomoki's waistband? I don't know why, I don't know what the intent is, but it's freaking weird. It's so weird. Yeah, alright, this is a weird one.
It's really weird.
Freaking, have we mentioned how weird this is yet? This is freaking weird. Anyways, all of that aside, yeah, this... Hey, sup, Flo? Did you hear how weird this shit is? Oh, man. But yeah, all this, like, crazy tickle torture, like... Yeah, this is all it's special. Oh, I know, right? Absolutely. Like, 100%.
Also, only the girl and the little boy. Like,
yeah,
Junpei is left entirely alone.
That's another thing. It's like, less special if you just look at this still. It's like Junpei's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. He looks more confused than anything else. Jeez. But yeah, so this episode, yeah, Takia finally gets back from the dark world. Sorry, not the dark world, the human world. Although I guess same difference, really, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, well, I need to, like, rush in and save everyone. He's like, wait, no, I actually need to stop and think this through. And then he, like, gets a psychic premonition that it's going to rain. Well, I guess not as much psychic as much as just, a feeling. And he's like, wait, what? Rain? Oh, wait,
No,
nature?
No, he has a straight up vision.
Yeah.
It's totally a psychic premonition for some reason.
Yeah,
it's just
like,
something a Goonimon can do, I guess.
Yeah. I have to imagine this is something that, like, all the spirits could, like, potentially do if they really stopped and, like, focused on, and he just sort of, like, unlocked it. Because it's like, I can't imagine there's anything out, like, fire specifically that would be, like, more connected to nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, that totally seems to be, like, this week characters be having visions. Oh yeah, I know, right? Man, I should have used that for the tile. That would have been great. But yeah, like, this actually kind of really makes sense because it's like, alright, they're elemental spirits, so they're, like, tied to the elements of nature. Therefore, they can kind of, like, sense the weather, seemingly. And it's like, this is phrased in the most confusing way possible. Because, when he's, like, revealed that he does this, and, like, does this to the villains or whatever, Mercurymon says, like, oh my goodness, they've, like, somehow made the forces of nature their allies. And it's like, I don't know how literal that's meant to be taken, because it seems like what's actually happening is that Agunimon, like, is, like, sensing the humidity and stuff in the air, and he stops and he's like, okay, I need to, like, wait for the right moment to attack, and he senses that, like, a big, crazy, thundering hailstorm is coming, and he's like, okay, now, if we attack during this, our abilities will be stronger. That seems to be the gist of it.
Do you know how rare like a thunder snowstorm is?
I have to imagine it's, like, stupidly rare, at least in the human world.
I don't know the exact probability of a lightning snowstorm, but it's pretty dang rare.
Yeah. It's pretty rare. It's so rare, in fact, this is the first time we've actually seen it in the series, ever. Like, ever.
Well, there was a one time it snowed in summer.
Yeah, that was weird,
the same
but
thing.
Yeah, not quite the same. Also, yeah, can we just stop and acknowledge for a second that, like, the villain's way of, like, destroying their Digivices or, like, breaking them open or whatever is to just have a group of Datamon just, like, get in a barrier and just start, like, smashing on them with hammers, and it's not really working.
Yeah, also apparently you can, like, Jedi lightsaber pull your Digivice to you.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Because Junpei's just like, no, hey, ask me my Digivice back, and he calls for the spirit, and it actually kind of works. But they have a little, like, barrier around them, so it, like, stops it from coming back, and it just bounces off the wall. And It's like, oh, okay. That seems like it'd be really useful in some other situations we've seen before. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know that it ever comes up again.
I don't believe so. At least not to my, like, limited memories of the series. It would be interesting if it did, though. This seems like it'd be really useful. Just, remember when Datamon had the Digivice from Tomoki and he's, like, working on it? Tomoki could have been like, a spirit, and then it would have, like, flown into his hand and he could have, like, probably ran off. Because, I mean, it's Datamon. How fast could he be? Like, look at his little legs.
Yeah. And maybe
man.
they didn't think about that idea until this episode.
Nah, man, it's Junpei is the most effective party member, just straight up. He's the
Yeah,
only one with the willpower to literally call the Digivice to his hand directly. Like, every time, it's like he's the standout one. He's just has the most aptitude in the team.
yeah, that's why then no one ever thought of it, because that's why it never came up till now, because Junpei was the first to think of it.
Yeah, because Junpei is so OP. He's the most overpowered character. Dude, Junpei's so strong that even Junpei can't defeat Junpei. Jeez. Yeah, side note, yeah, like, just get into the next episode a little bit. Oh, so we're just fighting ultimates now, huh? Just straight up. We're just fighting them regularly, I guess.
Volcamon.
Yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if Volcamon was an ultimate, so I was asking.
Yeah, Volcamon's an ultimate. And next
Okay.
week we're going to find, I think it's like Tengumon or something? Something Tengumon, which is also an ultimate. And I have to imagine that everyone's gonna find a way to win against him. This is like...
Yeah, we're doing like a thing where it's like everybody's gonna have to go through their own like trial or whatever.
Yeah, it's like... I'm like thinking, it's like, okay, were the spirits just like ultimate level all along? Because like, you know, Agumon starts by fighting Werewolfmon and he wins, but then he gets attacked by Sneemon and he's struggling to keep up, right? He's like taking hits. So it's like, okay, so what the heck? Because I was thinking, like, okay, maybe Fairymon's just the only one that's champion level, and Fairymon just sucks really, really hard. But no, it's just not consistent at all.
I think it's just that, like, we're not supposed to think of it in, like, normal Digimon power level terms.
I don't care, I'm gonna think of it in normal Digimon power level terms.
Okay, well, that's on you.
Right? It's like, alright, I like suspend my disbelief to be like, okay, maybe everyone's just gone strong enough over time that it's like, now they're kind of like at ultimate level, but it's also like, you know, earlier we had them beat an ultimate already, and then they lost to a champion, so it's like, I don't know, what the fuck?
I mean, the episode, this episode literally starts with Takuya being like, I am stronger now.
Yeah.
His experience made him literally stronger.
Whatever, like, as long as they don't lose to a frigging champion or something in the near future, I'll be fine writing it off and being like, okay, whatever. They've just, like, got enough power now, you know? They have enough fighting experience that they can, like, harness their spirits and they're just ultimates now, basically. Screw it, fine.
Yeah.
Man, if only they didn't beat Werewolfmon the first episode, this would be so much less frustrating for me. Because that's like, that actually kind of does matter. Yeah, Spiridios are kind of hard to land on where exactly they are. Oh, man. But yeah, so Goemon just comes back. It's like, as he's coming back, yo, Ramon's just like, okay, well, I'm done screwing around. Time to just murder a child.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna kill one. And Mercurymon's like, sure, just one of them though.
Yeah.
And then Junpei's just like automatically assuming it's going to be Izumi.
Yeah, that was really confusing, because it's like, Junpei, like, you know, he's sitting there, and then Ramon's like, oh yeah, yo, the one I'm gonna kill is you, and she points, and it cuts to Junpei, and he's like flinching, like, oh no. And then we see the vision, So when I first watched it, I was like, oh, hey, you know, of course she's picking Junpei, because we saw her point and then it cut to Junpei, so of course. It's like a vision of, like, you know, Junpei being like, oh yeah, yo, don't worry, Izumi, I'll protect you. And I was like, is Izumi having this vision? What's going on? Because it's like, from the framing, it's obvious that she's pointing at him, so it's like, I didn't know it was meant to be like a weird misdirect.
I mean, you say it's obvious, but I assumed she was gonna pick Izumi also, even after it showed Junpei.
Yeah, because, I don't know, for it's like, why would Junpei be flinching if she was picking Izumi, right?
Because he likes Izumi.
I don't know, it seems like just the director on that's a bit counterintuitive to the gag, but whatever, that's just me. Heroes are kind of they're legendary, so what does that mean in the context of strength? Honestly, like, you know, in most situations, I just assume, like, you know, high champion. Like, generally around champion, or, like, around, like, you know, like, maybe low-tier ultimate at, like, you know, worst, right? Because, like, I don't know, somewhere like that, where it's like, I'd assume normally it's like, you know, the human forms around, like, mid-champion, you know, like, the average champion strength, and, like, the beast spirits are, like, high champion bordering on ultimate, right? And you get to, like, you know, the, like, you know, other forms, and theirs are, like, you know, ultimate and up, because of course. At least that'd be my assumption. Because, yeah, I feel like in most of the games and stuff, that's just where they're placed. Like, when creators have to put, like, a hard number on, you know, that's, like, the power level they're generally given. But, yeah, I know. But, yeah, weird dream sequence, you know, of course, Junpei loves, like, you know, Izumi, so he's like, oh no, I'll have to, like, you know, protect her and stuff. And, like, you know, Ramon's like, well, I should pick Izumi, but I really just want to save the best for last, so I guess you, like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, I'll just kill you.
And thankfully, she doesn't choose to use her more powerful water attacks and chooses the slowest method possible.
Yeah. Even with the whole, like, actually deciding to finally kill somebody thing, it's like, wow, you're just bad at this, huh?
Yeah. Because we see later in this, like, exact same episode, she can just shoot, like, a stream of water down someone. And just really seems to mess up Lobomon for a bit, or Wolfmon, or whatever.
Yeah,
like, it really hurts him a lot.
Yeah, every time she does the thing where it's like, I make it rain on you, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I guess that's a power.
Yeah.
I guess the rain hurts way more than it seems to. But yeah. So, like, she's killing Junpei very slowly, and then, like, friggin', like, you know, Wolfmon has to jump in and save them. I forget the human's name.
Koji.
Koji, right, yeah. I'm bad with names. But yeah, he has to jump in and save them and, like, you know, actually do something for a bit. And it's like, you know what? Think about honestly, I can't do like that. It's like, you know, Koji learns that sometimes you have to be a bit reckless in order to, like, you know, protect people, and, like, meanwhile, Takio learns that, like, you know, you need to actually be patient and, like, have planning and stuff, and, you know, he learns to, like, wait it out a bit until the right moment to, like, come in and, you know, turn the tide of battle, right?
Yeah, Koji still has patience because he waits until it's like a life or death situation to actually jump in.
Yeah, but he does jump in even though it's, like, clearly reckless.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I appreciate that a lot. That's like, you know, Yeah, they have their own little arc where it's like, they have to learn each other's values a bit, and like have a whole thing about it. And it's like just expressed really well without them ever having to like stop and like say the message or whatever. Yeah, focusing on the two has begun. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I am really prepared for like, the other characters to hit sidelines super hard as soon as the current sort of like arc has ended. I'm very prepared for this to be a thing.
At least they all get a little moment in this episode where they all beat up on Randomon and Mercurymon.
Yeah. Cause like they have the big thunderstorm blizzard that happens, and Takia just shows up and like just beats everyone and like gives his friends the Digivices, and they have this cool shot of them walking as like a group. And like shows it zooming in 3 times for dramatic effect just to be sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah. We're gonna, like, wreck them up like this. We're a team. Like, everyone's just on the same page. Yeah, let's do this. Everyone needs to work together. Until they don't.
Yeah. They beat up on Mercurymon and Randomon, and Mercurymon's like, oh crap, we should probably leave.
Yeah. They're doing all the fun little combo attacks, like freaking Chalkmon freezes Mercurymon's feet, and then like Wolfmon just hits him with the swords. And he's like, oh geez, alright, this is actually really hard. They're actually really strong now.
They've learned the power of teamwork.
They've learned the power of teamwork, and the weather is giving them a boost to, like, the extent where they don't even need the beast spirits right now. They're not even transformed, and we still can't beat them.
Yeah. I will say, there's a moment where, Taku is like, okay, I need to go in and help, but actually I need a plan, and it's like, I don't know. Koji has them pretty distracted as of right now. Turn into Vreachermon, swoop in, break their chains, give them their Digivices.
Yeah, that would probably work. I could imagine that, like, Vreachermon's fire could probably, like, burn through their chains, and then if they just, like, get to, like, the Digivices, then they'd be able to, like, evolve and break through the little, like, wooden cuffs.
I mean, he could just rip them apart with his pure strength.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, but this is shonen, though. We have to do it the cool way.
That would have been the cool way.
Reachermon just, like, rushes in and just cuts everyone's chains apart with, like, once. Actually, no, yeah, that would be pretty neat. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah. Also, just there's randomly a Sephic for some reason, just so he can, like, throw a boomerang that shows Takia where the others are.
Like, and they're really caught up on his lore where he can only be friends with the dead.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I did not know about that before, like, outside of the Ghost Game episode. So if we just got to Frontier just a little earlier, then that probably would have made that mystery a bit, like, easier to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, right? It's like, oh wow. Like, for whatever reason, circumstances have just, like, primed us to get multiple Cephicmon episodes fairly close to each other. Super weirdly enough.
So strange.
It's such a weird coincidence that he's showing up so much now.
Yeah, Cephicmon's trying to kill Pokemon and Neimon so they can be friends.
Oh, man. But don't you know you can be friends with someone that isn't dead?
Yeah, Takuya shows up and it's like, oh, I gotta go save my friends. And he's like, how could you have friends if you're alive? I don't comprehend it. And it's like, you can be friends with people who are alive. And Sephimon's like, what? Like, surprised Pikachu face?
Yeah, he, like, doesn't understand. See, Frontier's 20 this year, so, oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? Man, that makes me feel old, but it's also really cool. that feels really bad, but also, yeah, nice. Things repeat, I guess. It's like poetry, it rhymes. You see, and like all good poetry, if you can't think of a good rhyme, just use the same creature over and over again. Oh, man. But yeah, I feel like there's one other thing I should point out, which is that it's like, okay, last episode with like the train and stuff, I did not realize that Duskmon literally abducted all of his friends. That was very unclear.
Yeah, but I guess it makes sense. It's like Duskbun returns to base and it's like, yeah, I knocked all of them out. They're over here.
Yeah, he
But I guess
doesn't finish them off, but he does kidnap most of them.
Yeah, and I guess Koji woke up before and just ran away.
Yeah, suddenly the whole thing where Taki is like running around like, freaking out over like, oh, did I like let everyone down? Did I like, was coming to the digital world a mistake? Suddenly all of that makes way more sense in the context of like, oh, all of my friends are being tortured and people could die. Like, I guess he would have, like, literally known that, but I mean, if he was aware they were kidnapped, he could probably assume so, right?
Yeah.
This is, like, worst case scenario as far as, like, kids' shows go. But yeah, like, super weird moment and otherwise pretty solid and cool episode. Anything else we really want to say about it?
Not necessarily about this episode in particular.
Yeah, I feel like the next episode will probably have, like, more to really, like, dig into.